Harris, speaking of energy, there's a lot of energy that apparently is required for AI. And big news this week, of course, was DeepSeek. So, what is your view in terms of whether or not they really were able to develop AI at a much lower cost? Do you believe it? And what do you make of all of this?
So I hearken back to my days back when everyone thought the internet was a hoax, and I was in Silicon Valley, and people basically said there's no way the internet's going to be adopted. Obviously,
Hmm.
that's been not the case. So when I look at the whole AI thing, really what we're talking about is the transition in society from um, analog to digital. And what I mean by that is we are creating a digital representation of the analog world as we speak. Requires enormous compute. And people are going to go from
Mm,
currently, Web 3.0 is still pretty rudimentary. It's more of an information and activity. But very soon, through tokenization, people will be transacting in the digital world. And very soon after that, with the help of AI, people will have direct participation in the digital world through avatars. So, what I mean by that is the demand for compute as we shift from analog to digital is everywhere. It's not limited to AI. There's a whole bunch of other
mm,
factors. I'll give you some examples. If you look at the Bitcoin network is currently consuming about 24 gigawatts of power. It was at 10 gigawatts of power in 2022. 24 gigawatts of power is
mm,
enough to power Canada for 4 months. So
mm,
that's grown at a compound annual growth
mm,
rate in 2 years of 70%. Electrification, EV, autonomous vehicles is going to demand enormous compute. So I actually see the demand for compute growing considerably. And on DeepSeek, look, people are going to innovate in AI, of course. And anyone who thinks the Chinese, with their incredible investment in technical acumen, are not going to be players is naive. AI, in my
mm,
opinion, is as important as nuclear weapons in establishing the future international pecking order. So the major
mm-hmm,
players are going to be in, and it is of vital
mm-hmm,
strategic interest because one thing that's happening with AI that's a little more subtle is AI is becoming part of the military in a lot of the major countries, and an AI in the military is going to connotate into a pretty strategic advantage. So the
mm,
rush for AI is only getting started. We're going to see innovation. DeepSeek trained what they're saying on less developed chips for a fraction of the price. And if that means that, one of the pathways doesn't have to be a massive increase in data center scale and consumption, great. It's there, there's
mm-hmm.
there's a thing in economics called Jevons paradox, and basically what it says is as technology drives the price of a product lower, consumption of that product expands. It's kind of a little bit of Moore's law. So I
Right.
actually see DeepSeek as validating another approach to deploying AI that's going to have broader application, and we're just getting started. There's going to be 50 DeepSeeks. There's going to be a
Mm.
whole bunch of different ways of harnessing this, but the transition from analog to digital is real, and it's really the driver of compute going forward.
So here's what's your I mean, what's almost a simple way to invest in what you're talking about? Like when I was looking at all this week, I'm like, you know what? I own Exxon shares. I'm like, maybe I just buy more energy. Very simple. That's a very simple approach. I mean, there's other much more sophisticated ways to do it, but that's something that comes to my mind. We will need a lot of energy. How are you looking at this? What's a simple approach?
So I think obviously the market, NVIDIA specifically, the market reacted quite strongly. And look, if you're a chip maker, obviously there's going to be competition. There's going to be a lot of dynamics, how we train these LLMs and deploy them, especially with inference now. But when you really look at what's happening in the market, there's innovation, there's ingenuity, there's mass scale deployment, and to me, that's just very exciting. AI is an accelerant technology that will change everything.
Mm-hmm.
in some
Mm-hmm.
fundamental ways, and we have to be part of it.
Oh, okay. Harris, we have to leave it there. There's so much more to discuss as always. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks, Catherine.